Is we were doing Assalamu alaikum. We were doing charging by induction. This was our topic. We had started this topic last time. Charging by rubbing, charging by induction, charging by earthing, charging by contact. The name of the chapter is electrostatics. This is the name of the chapter. And we were discussing these four important rules. Now look at this case. We had discussed that when you rub a cloth piece over a glass rod, it produces friction. Due to friction, electrons are transferred. Due to friction, electrons are transferred. And now you can see they are separated and the plus minus is now visible. We had discussed this pattern that rubbing produces friction. Friction generates heat energy, which transfer electrons, and charging occurs. I'm putting my first concept for today. This is one of their favorite questions. Charging of solids by friction involve only the transfer of electrons. It means in our course, we do not transfer other particles like positive ions, negative ions. Our course focuses on the transfer of electrons only. Okay, now this is my first concept. Only the electrons are transferred in this process. You have to copy this screen. Now, this is my first concept. When two objects are charged, they can attract or repel each other. We discussed this thing in our last class. So now we are putting an animation to understand this concept that objects can attract each other or repel each other. This is an experiment. You have to watch it quickly. Watch it carefully. These are two rods and he's rubbing the two rods by the same cloth. Now look the repulsion. You can see the two rods are repelling each other. Look, their two rods are repelling each other. Now, we take another pair of rods and we rub it by the same cloth again. You have to see carefully and you have to tell me once when the experiment starts that is it a case of repulsion or it's a case of attraction. Look, this is another case of repulsion. The rods are going away from each other. Like charges repel each other. Now, see the third episode. Now, the two different materials are there and I'm rubbing it with the same cloth. Now see, you can observe it closely that this is a type of attraction. This is a type of attraction. So what is our second concept for today? When objects are charged, when two objects are charged, they can attract or repel each other. When one object is charged and the other close object is neutral, it can attract the neutral object. This is our third concept for today. But first copy the second concept for today. First copy this. Now, I put my third concept. Now, it's a very technical concept. If one object is charged and the other object is neutral, and you bring them close, the charged object will attract the neutral. For example, if you charge a comb and you bring it too close to small pieces of paper, the comb will pick them. It's a very interesting example. Charged object can pick up small scrap of paper, which you can see in your common life also. Static charge, when taking off a woolen jumper, when you take out this woolen jumper, you can feel the sparks. Static charge, when shuffling along the carpeted floor with socks on, again charges are observable. Static charge, when jumping on a trampoline with socks on, again friction induces charge. Now I put my third concept for today. You have to copy the third concept. Now, we made these examples and now we are moving towards electrostatic induction. You have to give a new heading, electrostatic induction. Now, what is electrostatic induction? Let's first make the concept. Whenever you talk about neutral substances, like a neutral sphere. In chemistry, actually, substances are not neutral in sense of the charges. Every substance contain equal number of plus and minus. Every substance contain equal number of positive and negative charges. Every substance contains equal number of plus and minus. So as a mathematics, this is a neutral substance. If it is plus 10, minus 10 is equal to 0. Plus 10 minus 10. It means what is a neutral substance? A neutral substance contain both positive and negative numbers. Okay. Now, very carefully, what happens? If I put a positive rod here, look it carefully. If I put a positive rod here, it will attract the negative charges because plus and minus attract each other. What will happen after that? The positive and negative will separate from each other. The positive and negative will separate from each other. The negative charges will gather on the left hand side. The negative will gather here, and positive will gather on the right side. There is a movement of electrons, the plus minus separated. This is called electrostatic induction. So what is the definition? When a charged substance is brought near a neutral substance, a charge distribution occurs on the surface of the substance. This is called electrostatic induction. This is a neutral sphere. And we should know that a neutral substance contains both positive and negative. Now what happened? The plus minus separate from each other. Plus minus separate from each other due to the movement of electrons. This distribution of plus minus is called electrostatic induction. This is our next concept. So now first copy the definition. Once you have copied, let me know on the chat or on the mic. Okay, so we got the definition, and now we are going to show the diagram that this is a neutral sphere which is mounted on an insulated stand. You have to copy this diagram now. Now, this is a neutral sphere. Every substance contains both plus and minus. Now, if I bring a positive rod near to this sphere, plus and minus separate from each other. This distribution of plus and minus is called electrostatic induction. You have to copy this diagram. Do not update it. Copy this diagram as a new diagram. Now, this is the movement of free electrons. Update the same diagram. Enter free electron. So this is called electrostatic induction. What is the consequence of electrostatic induction? When this side is positive and this becomes negative, this eventually will occur that there is a force of attraction. There is a force of attraction between the two substances. I show you an experimental idea that I have a simple pendulum hanging from a thread. Okay. And I bring close to it a positively charged rod. I bring close to it a positively charged rod. What happens in the sphere? Look at this. One of their favorite question in MCQ to determine the plus and minus. As the rod is positive, one side will be negative and one side will be positive. This is called induction. What will happen after that? The sphere will be attracted towards the rod. The sphere will be attracted towards the rod and move and go and touch it. As soon as it touches the rod, electron transfers and then only positive left. Now there is a repulsion and the sphere come back. It's a very tricky experiment, and I want to show you in an animation, so you can imagine the actual work concept of this repulsion and attraction together. You have to see it very carefully. He is charging a rod. Look carefully, the sphere is slightly disabling, moving. Look it carefully. It's trying to attract and touch. Very carefully see this moment. I want to repeat this moment. Carefully see, it's trying to attract, and then touches. As soon as it touches, electron transfers and it rebounds. Look carefully. It is being attracted, it is being, look, and then it rebounds. So this is the concept of touch and close proximity. Now look at this concept. The simple pendulum is hanging. It's neutral. I brought a rod and now it is electrostatic induction. Then it moves towards the rod due to attraction. But when it touches the rod, it loses electron and then it rebounds. It loses the electrons and it rebounds. This is due to repulsion. Now, heading is there. Charging by induction. Give the new heading, charging by induction. Now, this is the first step, and you can see step number 1. The two spheres are neutral and they're on insulated stand. When I brought a positive charge rod near to it, the two spheres undergoes plus minus separation, and this is electrostatic induction. You have to copy this. there are two neutral sphere, and this is their favorite question in the paper. They are giving spheres, they are giving always insulated stands, rods, earthing, wires, and they want people to identify the charges. Now look at carefully the step number 3. I have touched the two spheres. Step number 3, I have touched the two spheres. On touching, electron transfers, and one sphere is predominantly negative. One sphere is predominantly negative, then I remove the spheres after touching. The rod is still there. Rod will be holding negative. So these are the two further steps. Copy them. You have to copy them. Let me know once you have copied it. Let me know once you have people have copied it. This is a case of two spheres which were initially neutral, and now one of them have a negative charge and the second one is having a positive charge. So update the diagram. This is a contact and separated. Contact and separated. Update the diagram. Now, after that, I have separated I have separated the two spheres. The rod has been removed. Now look carefully. The minus charge was concentrated at a point. Minus charge was concentrated. They were in a focus line. Now you can observe here. You can observe that the two spheres are separated and the rod has been removed. The charges spread out on each other. Actually, like charges naturally repel, but due to the rod, they were together. Now, after the rod has been removed, they are spread out. You have to copy the step number 5. Let me know once you have copied it. Earthing. This is my next title. Give a new heading, earthing. Now let's discuss the concept of earthing. If you have a charged substance like a charged rod, say negative rod, if you have a charged rod like this and you connect it with the earth, okay, you connect it with the earth, then electrons will drain, electron will move towards the earth, they will go down the earth. Electrons are moving towards the earth. Now you have to see carefully. This process is called earthing. So what is earthing? Earthing is a process in which a charged substance is connected to the earth. What is the result? On earthing, the substance either loses electron or gain electron and it becomes neutral. I repeat, what is earthing? You take a charged substance and you connect it with the earth. When you connect it with the earth, the substance either loses electron or gain electron and it becomes neutral. This process is called earthing. So first copy down the definition. Earthing is a process in which a charged substance is connected to the earth by a conducting wire. Now look at this diagram. Look at this diagram. This is a positive rod, and I have connected the positive rod with the wire into the earth. I have connected a wire and I have connected the substance to the earth. Please copy down this diagram. When you connect a positive rod with the earth, what happens? After some time, the rod will gain electrons. The rod will gain electrons because positive will attract electron, and the rod will be neutralized. You already have copied half of the diagram. You have to see the electrons are coming up. Electrons are coming up and the rod object will be neutralized. You have to update, you have to copy this diagram. Now look at the second diagram. Okay. Look at the second diagram. Look at the second diagram that it's a negative rod. Now make a concept. Negative rod will lose electron and positive rod will gain electron. Negative rod will lose electron and it will become neutralized again. So whatever you earth, it will be neutralized. You have to copy this diagram now. Now we put our next summary concept. Electrons always move from higher potential to lower. When you were connecting a negative rod, electrons were going downward. And when you connected a positive rod, electrons are going upward. So this is So now you can see that electrons always move from a higher potential to lower. Positive rod will lose electron, will gain electron, and negative rod will gain. Negative rod will lose electron and positive will gain. The transfer of electron is spontaneous. We have to copy now this screen. So now let's summarize. Then earthing is a safety procedure. When you are doing earthing, the purpose of earthing is a safety. Why it is a safety? Because when something is charged, it can produce a spark. When something is charged, it can produce a spark. So when you neutralize it, you are actually making it safer to use. Earthing, a conductor, earthing, an insulator, both are possible. Now let's give a heading, applications of earthing. For example, earthing an oil container, protection of an aeroplane. These are all past paper examples. Protection of high-rise buildings, protection during refueling. You have to copy this screen now. Now, I'm putting the first example of this list. Earthing an oil container. Oil containers carry a huge amount of flammable liquid, and when oil containers travel for long distances, their metal body gets charged due to friction. Their metal body gets charged due to friction. Look at the surfaces now charged. Now, what is the danger when something is charged? When something is charged, there is always a chance of spark if another object hits it. So that is why you must have seen that they have written there that keep a safe distance, it is dangerous, keep a safe distance, a spark can occur. When something is charged, it can produce a spark. Now, spark can ignite the fuel, and this can be very dangerous. So what they do in order to protect the system, they take a metal chain, and hang it at the back like this. This metal chain is touching the earth. This metal chain is touching the earth, and this actually does the process of earthing. Aeroplanes face the same problem due to movement in air. Friction occurs, and friction produces charge. This charge is dangerous, and it is on the metal surface. When the aeroplane tires touch the ground, this charge go in the earth and it becomes neutral. Aeroplane tires are made from special rubber. This rubber is conducting rubber. The rubber is normally an insulator, but this rubber is specially designed and it is a conductor. Due to this earthing, the metal body of the aeroplane becomes neutral. Then protection of high-rise building. This is another big problem for high-rise buildings. You might have seen it in real or in movies that high-rise buildings have a feature like this, a metal rod, copper rod. There is a thick copper rod on the roof of the surface building. When electricity hits the metal rod, it goes down and it gets the earthing. This is the protection. Hazard in refueling. This is a very common question, has appeared 4 to 5 times. What happens when you are pumping or fuel in your car? The metal rod has a positive charge and the fuel has a negative charge. Look, the fuel has a negative charge. The positive and negative, they come in contact and this produces a spark. Spark can ignite the fuel. I show you a video and I will ask you people that what is the error made by the user. The topic is fueling, refueling the vehicle. Now look at this CCTV work. This is a self-service fuel station and look, look at this step. Now you have to identify what mistake she is going to take. This is called electrostatic spark during refueling. She is rubbing the shirt, electrostatic charge was there. And what happened now? She was brave and she was brave enough to take out the pumping fuel rod and she is safe. And the car also didn't explode. Small flame was there, but she was lucky. Now, this is why we have a problem during refueling, especially when we are refueling the aeroplanes. Now, how we tackle this situation, we do earthing. We do the earthing process. This is earthing, and this will neutralize the metal pipe. So now give the heading, hazard in refueling. Give this heading. So now you have to copy this screen. Okay, so we keep it up to here. You just copy it and then we will stop here and we will continue this work, inshallah, in our next class. once you people complete it, you can leave the class. It's over, and we will inshallah continue in the next class.